put you in the best light always. Okay, so we are recording, so we're really good to go at any point in time. All right. Okay, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
I think this is episode 15.
Okay. Wow.
Sure.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
I'm not
Allie
quite
always
there yet,
disagrees.
but I believe you.
What episode are you actually on?
I actually started to skip ahead today, so I cannot confirm the number I'm on. But I have been listening in chronological order, but now I got impatient today. I wanted to go to the stag episode because I thought, so
They're
relevant.
gonna talk about me.
Well, it's just relevant to something I've gone through. I can relate to that one.
I like that.
Okay, so we have a guest today.
Oh, obviously,
Hi.
if you don't recognize the voice, this is Melanie Windle. She used to work with us at the French Place.
Yes.
And that's actually, how both of us met you, I suppose.
Yeah.
So we've been friends for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Melanie's also going to be leading our cocktail this week.
Oh, I didn't know I was making it. Okay, perfect.
Yes. So why don't you go on ahead and just explain what you are doing when you do it.
Okay, I will do that.
This can also sometimes be the challenge of making the cocktail if you put things far away from you. So I'm just I'll move the coffee table closer to you.
With all that stuff on it? Okay,
yes,
let's
it'll
do
be
it.
fine. And then you
Oh my
just explain what we're doing.
There is
We're
a
prone to
theme
spilling
of
on this
spilling,
podcast.
Yes. I'm your guys'
Okay.
new biggest fan on the podcast, to be honest. I'm late to the party, but I'm loving it. Okay, so
We love fans
we
at any
are
time.
making an amaretto sour.
One of my
Yay.
absolute favorite drinks.
Me as well. Okay, so we're going to start with Di Serono amaretto.
What's the other brand of amaretto? Isn't there another one?
Well, you stumped me there.
I
thought
don't
there was
know.
one.
I've seen it before. It comes in like a big tall bottle. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know. So amaretto is like an almond liqueur, correct?
It's something that I feel like I could drink pretty straight if I needed to.
Yeah,
no problem.
That's why I like amaretto as well, because it's a very smooth, easy drinking. Is it lower alcohol percentage than other liqueurs?
Yes, it sure is.
28%.
Yeah. So I like it instead of like a whiskey sour, for instance. I always like a good amaretto sour. I can drink like 10 of those and feel pretty good.
Okay, so these ones, because they're weaker, I like to make it a bit stronger. So there's 3 of us here. We're going to put 1.5 ounces in for each drink. So I actually did this math ahead of time because I'm not very quick. I'm already feeling awkward on the podcast a bit, but 4.5 ounces.
Perfect.
Do we have enough amaretto?
We have another
I bought an
bottle.
entire other
Okay,
bottle
good.
because I looked at the bottle of
I see it.
amaretto last night and I said, well, that is just not going to be enough for everybody. So
you.
I was actually being very prepared this week. I made sure I went and got it today.
Good.
I know.
That's great.
The only thing that we didn't do ahead of time was make simple syrup. So we had to do that right before we
Yes.
filmed today.
Well, that worked out because I was busy writing an offer.
See,
Life of a realtor.
Yeah, and same with when I was trying to leave the office, I was hoping to leave at 4 so that I could get here, and then we had 3 or 4 customers show up at 3:55 today. So, and normally my mom isn't there that late either, so she normally leaves at 2, but she had to stay and wait until customers came because we knew some of them were coming. So it was just like a total shit show.
It's
Trying to get out of there.
The people who walk in, you're open for 2 more minutes? Oh, 3 courses.
perfect. We made it just in time.
Drinks. Let's do
Oh
this.
no! Please just fill up my hot water. I'm not quite done my tea yet. It's like,
I have another lemon
1
with
a.m. You're like, are you serious?
Oh, I had somebody do that to me once, and then they didn't tip, and then they came in like 4
Unjust.
more times, and each time I gave them really shitty service because I wanted them to never come back.
What I don't understand is, where are you coming from? Where did you just leave from to come to a restaurant at 11:57?
I think they were having an affair, these particular people, because I don't know, she seemed
Wow.
like she was married and she was a lot older than him.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Judgments. We always make that judgment of like, is it the dad and daughter or older man and younger girl?
Knowing your audience is key in serving, really. So,
Absolutely.
We should definitely talk about an affair situation that we encountered.
I already know
at
which one you're
Original-
talking about.
Oh,
at the French
at the
place.
French place.
place.
Okay,
Sorry.
finish your amaretto.
Anyways,
and then.
yes, amaretto sour, super delicious drink, really popular at a restaurant that wasn't the French place that I used to work at, and super simple ingredients. So kind of weird. We are putting egg whites into our drink. 3 egg whites for 3 people.
Why did we do that?
A nice frothy foam at the top. Good texture,
So
good body
delicious.
to your beverage. So I have my amaretto. We have our egg whites. Normally you would use a fresh squeezed lemon, but time-wise, we are just gonna...
We ain't got no time for that.
Pour, what I think would be 3 lemons worth, I guess.
That looked like about an ounce of lemon juice, I'd say.
I would think so. And then also we have simple syrup, which you don't really need a lot of, because amaretto is pretty sweet to start. Okay.
That looks very, very delicious.
Okay, so you're
I'm
going to
really
shake
excited.
this one quite a bit because you have
The egg whites, you want it to be frothy.
and you want a nice frothy foam. Yes.
Allie's all about the ASMR with the shaking.
Anyone who's watching this on the camera, you might be able to see it's looking pretty
It looks
frothy.
really delicious.
Okay. Very excited for this one. I noticed we don't have garnish, but usually I would do a lemon wheel, maybe some sort of brandied cherry.
I have never bought a brandied cherry in my entire life.
They are actually pretty delightful.
These look so delicious. I love amaretto sours.
I do too.
Going back to the situation that Melanie was talking about with knowing or thinking of an affair. One time when I was working at the restaurant, I was serving a table, and the girl that was sitting at the table said, "Hey, do you mind taking a picture with me?" And I said, "Sure, I guess." Really weird. Never had somebody ask me that before while I'm working. So I she makes me sit down on the booth beside her, get somebody else to take a picture of both of us. And then she goes, "Oh, thanks. I'm cheating on my boyfriend." And I told him that I was out with one of my girlfriends, and like he doesn't know the girlfriend that I was out with, so I just wanted to be able to show him. Like, oh, thanks for telling me that now.
You were an accomplice.
I totally
you were
was.
accomplice to a crime.
I was not involuntarily an accomplice. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, let's cheers.
Try these.
Yes. Okay, cheers.
Yum. Oh man, those are
love
delicious.
It's
Yum.
sweet and tart and frothy all at the same time.
Good call, Melanie. Thank you very much.
Yay, my offer's been signed, guys.
Oh my gosh, what a wonderful
Congratulations.
time. This is a great start to our podcast.
Great.
I also just want to mention I watched the Soup Nazi episode of Seinfeld the other night.
Oh,
Such a good one.
love it.
I always know that that's a great episode, but I was just killing myself laughing.
It's so funny.
Hilarious. And then when Elaine buys the armoire, and then the guys come and steal the
Yes.
armoire, and then when she finds all of the soup recipes in the drawer of the Soup Nazis armoire, oh my gosh, so funny.
Classic episode.
Funny episode I've been thinking of recently. I saw a meme that like could be a tad controversial these days, but it was a Seinfeld meme, and it has the 2 gentlemen that are trying to steal the armoire from Kramer in it, at Kramer and Elaine, and it's the AIDS walk episode.
The AIDS ribbon.
Oh,
And they're like,
yes.
"Why don't you want to wear the ribbon?" And everyone's ganging up on them. So I saw that in reference to like a
vaccine.
COVID vaccine
Yeah,
thing, but it
that's
was
cute.
so funny.
Yeah, it's did I tell you about when I saw on TikTok the other day about Jason Alexander's favorite line in Seinfeld?
Oh, yeah. Was it when he was on Wheel of Fortune?
No. So he was talking about one of his favorite lines in the show was the episode where he's sleeping with the cleaning lady on his desk at work.
Oh, yes. You did send
And
me
then
that.
so he goes, I get called into the office, and my boss goes, it's come to my attention that you've been having sexual relations with the cleaning lady on your desk. And then George goes, "What? Is that wrong? Was I not supposed to do that?" Because I gotta plead ignorance here. Like, had I known that was frowned upon, I definitely wouldn't have done that. So
There's too many great lines to go over.
You guys,
it's a great show.
Seinfeld's coming to Netflix on
Yes.
Friday.
I cannot wait.
I
I'm
am
so
gonna have
excited.
it on repeat all day, every day.
I mean, I have Crave, so I already watch it a lot.
Yeah.
But fair enough. I mean, Seinfeld's great, and what I like about it is that it's one of those shows that you don't have to watch any other episode to know really what's going on or anything about the characters. They're all so funny in their own right, and every season's good, every episode's good.
I also find the older I get, the more relatable
100%.
it becomes.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
There is one episode that I potentially think you may not have seen Allie. I know it's hard to believe. They don't play it very often because they referenced burning a country's flag, and the country was at war, at unrest during the filming, and it was Puerto Rican Day. Yes, thank you. Super controversial at the time. And there is some things that haven't aged that well in Seinfeld, but for the most part, there's still...
Same with Friends, though. Friends had a couple episodes that were like that, too, where you kind of think, oh, gosh, that would never be allowed on TV today.
Oh, well, same with The Office.
Oh,
lots of shows.
And
The Office isn't even all that old, really, to be not aged.
And The Office was parodying a lot of that stuff, too, but either way, it still wouldn't be allowed on now. Same with The Simpsons. There's been a few episodes that I've watched of The Simpsons that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they were allowed to get away with that.
I just am in awe of The Simpsons and their ability to forecast the future.
100%.
Well, there's so many conspiracy theories about how the writers are Freemasons and how the Freemasons control the world, and how they know everything that's going on.
Is a time traveler.
Absolutely, very very interesting. Still love that show. It's so clever.
If you haven't looked into the forecasting of Simpsons, go and check it out.
It's a huge rabbit hole.
It's a very interesting rabbit hole to fall into.
That'll keep you busy for a week for sure.
Yeah.
And then your TikTok algorithm will be all conspiracy theories and
I'm not gonna
You'll
touch
never
that.
climb out. You're deep in the hole.
Interesting. So now everyone talks about how your phone listens to you, and that's why it can push the ads and stuff to you. So I was watching a TikTok the other day of a guy explaining about how he had went to his mom's house and used her brand of toothpaste, and then he went home and he was getting ads for this toothpaste, and he's like, I know wholeheartedly that we didn't talk about it. I didn't mention it. I didn't look it up. I've never bought it, any of that kind of stuff. He's like, but I work for a company that specifically deals with data and data sharing. And he said the reason why that happens is the technology is getting so great now that when you accept permissions for apps, a lot of the permissions that you're accepting are that it talks to other apps. So it now knows when you go to somebody else's house and you connect to their Wi-Fi, it's looking at all the devices that are also connected to the Wi-Fi and what they're searching and what their browser history is, what they buy. And so then it pushes those things to your devices because it knows that you interact with those people. So maybe you won't buy it, but maybe you'll buy it for that person because that person uses it.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
Your phone definitely listens to you. I know it. Like today,
100%. It's crazy.
Okay, when
they claim that it doesn't.
The phone tells you when you get in your car that you'll be home in 13 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, how did you know?
Because of how many times you've gone that route, it now just knows that just based on the data that you've given it.
I was saying, oh, let's go home. And I got in my car and it was like, you'll be home in, 43 minutes. And I was like, wow, okay, that's weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no technology.
It does that.
Or what about when your app, I think it's when you download a new app now and it asks you permission at the beginning of using the app. Like, are you okay with app tracking? Yeah. Like, what do you pick? Are you okay with app tracking? Do you even know what app tracking is?
No, but I mean,
I don't. And so I say no because I just I'm like, I don't know if I am.
Yeah. That's what app tracking is. It's when you allow your apps to talk to other apps. And so it's tracking what you're doing even after you leave that app so that your Facebook and your browser can now speak with each other. And that's why you see ads on your Facebook for things that you search on your browser. That's exactly what it is.
So what do you pick when it asks you?
Well, I always hit okay because otherwise you can't use the app.
Oh, no, you can use the app.
Well, I've been noticing lately that now certain things are coming up and saying yes or no. And if I notice what it is, I'll say no. But it's interesting, though, why have a smartphone then? Because realistically, your everything, all your background of apps and all that kind of stuff is tracking what you're doing.
Yeah, well, that's why it's like, when people say that they don't want to get that vaccine because there's a tracker in it, it's like, guess what?
You have a smartphone.
You're using a phone.
And just, the government already knows everything
they already do.
They already know what's in your bank account. They already know where you work. They know where you live.
Yep.
They know everything about you. So they don't really need a tracker. You've already given them one.
Absolutely.
Fun fact, one time I was talking about a certain person who couldn't get it up.
Oh.
And then
Is
right
this
after.
someone we know?
Well, probably. But then I got an ad for erectile dysfunction medication.
Okay, that's hilarious.
It was.
If I come up with a good idea like that I think hasn't been done yet, I won't even Google search it to see if it has been done, because
Smart.
I feel like you're just offering it out to the like rich, powerful inventors right there. Like,
you're probably
That's a great idea.
yeah, exactly. It is a great idea, isn't it?
That's so funny. Did you guys hear about this new marketplace zone that Nanaimo's created?
No.
So it's a new marketplace zone, I'm going to call it, at the police station. Essentially, they're creating like a bit of a safe place for you to do marketplace exchanges.
Oh, that's
so
a good
that
idea.
Instead of having people come to your house, they're now saying, come here. It's well lit. There's cameras. There is audio recording just in case there were a situation. It's right by the police detachment. So you can do your safe exchanges here instead of, feeling uncomfortable that someone's going to come to your house, which is kind of interesting. I've never heard of that before.
That's why I don't
know.
fuck with marketplace, because the people are crazy. I don't want
People
to
are totally
go
crazy.
to someone's house, and I don't want someone to know where I live.
Oh no, I marketplace.
Yeah, you love that.
To an extreme. I love it.
I kind of feel that way as though sometimes too, when you have a bunch of people that are saying, oh, is this available? Can I come and look? And it's like, or can I come by? And it's like, well, I don't want to give you my address until I know that you're actually going to, because now I've just given you my address and you know that I'm selling a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
which is weird. So, but yeah, you marketplace all the
I
time.
love marketplace. Although I find that there is a lot of people who are making a business out of it, which is no problem whatsoever. Like,
It's just
everyone's got to
another
make their
medium to
money.
do it.
But like, I always think like used leggings at like a premium price, even though it might be a premium brand, is hilarious to me, because like you sweat in them, you work out in them.
Yeah.
You don't. I don't know, but
Not a lot of
some
people
people don't
wash
wear
them.
underwear in them either.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's like,
And not a lot of people wash them often.
Yes, no matter what brand it is, it has probably touched your vagina. And like,
Yes.
I'm just not paying premium prices for.
Yeah, it's understandable. I don't think I
Extremely
would buy
worn tights.
secondhand leggings. I don't think.
No.
I mean, nothing wrong with it.
No.
There's whole Lululemon groups and stuff. Because it is expensive, and you do get tired of it. But I don't know. I
just find that
sometimes
they
I
last
feel like
for so long. Like these, I have easily had these for 10 years.
Yeah.
My Wonder
they do
Unders.
last a long time.
Oh yeah.
And they don't. Well, I mean, I feel like the
kinda
10 years
pill a
ago,
little
their
bit.
quality was a lot thicker. Maybe
it is now,
I don't
you
know.
mean?
There's so many different fabrics, and you go on the website, and it's like Lou-free, Luan.
I know.
That's confusing as
That's
fuck.
Luan, and you're like,
And they all do similar things,
tell me
but
what it
different
is.
things. I know. One's for running, one's for jogging, one's for yoga, one's for walking. Like, what if I just want to sit around in them? Yeah. I'm not going to do
Which ones are
anything in
for
them.
nothing?
Which ones are for lounging? Oh, they're still $100. Great. But they last a really long time. So when you think about it, it is worth it. But just saying.
Have you guys seen that there's a new Britney Spears documentary coming out on Netflix? Or I think it's
3.
out already.
3 different
There's a bunch
platforms
of
are putting
them.
out 3
Oh my
different
God.
ones within
has
days of each
one.
other.
Crave has one, and it keeps coming up on my Crave. Netflix has one that's coming out this week, or it already is out?
It already came out, because I saw it on my Netflix this morning.
Oh, okay.
And I saw a clip on TikTok today, which is so interesting to me. So they're talking about the time that Britney came to Rogers Arena in Vancouver, and she
remember.
left the stage. I was
Were you at that concert?
I was at that concert, and she left the stage because there was a bunch of people smoking pot, and I knew immediately why she left the stage, and everyone was so pissed. They're like, "Oh, she's being a diva. She's being a diva." But what we forgot was she was going through an extremely tumultuous custody battle at the time, and she was getting drug tested. So she was scared that she would test positive for marijuana and lose her kids.
Yeah, it's
I knew that from
understandable.
day one. Like, it was just so obvious to me. I'm like, you guys, people were pissed. And
Yeah, I never thought
they
of that.
addressed this on the documentary. It's like 11 years later, and they're like, and it's got audio clips of her backstage freaking out. Like, she was freaking
Really?
out.
That's so sad.
It
I just
is
feel
so sad.
so sad for Britney.
Yeah.
I've always been a Britney fan, like a Britney supporter, and I think it's kind of funny that this has all really kind of come out, because in the last like year or two, when Facebook fact checkers have become really popular and prevalent, I posted a really long article about her conservatorship, and it was removed because it said that it was false.
Really?
And now all of a sudden the whole world is behind Britney, free Britney, free Britney. And it just makes me think like, who are the fact checkers? Where do they get their facts that they're checking? Nobody knows about this until now, when like official court documents are coming out and more information. I saw an article yesterday written about one of the documentaries, and it has interviews with two people who are really close with Britney. I think her name is Felicity or Felicia, which was her personal assistant from, she was in the Baby One More Time video. She was the school teacher. So she's been with Britney since the very beginning.
She was Britney's guardian when she was too young to be on her own. She lived in New York City, away from her family. She lived with Felicity or Felicia. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so she was essentially let go by Britney's team at one point in time, and then brought back for, I think it was the Piece of Me tour is what it said. And they kept her segregated from Britney. They tried to pin her and Britney against, allegedly, right? Like, we don't know for sure, but they tried to keep her segregated, say Britney didn't want to see her. She didn't want to see her. And on the very last day of the tour, she encountered her in the same room, and she ran into her arms. She was so happy to see her. She said, "Where have you been?"
Oh my God, the whole time she's been kept away from her.
Yeah. And then another kind of blurb was from another person close to Britney, one of her stylists. And she said that she gave Britney gave her a necklace with her phone number engraved, because if anything ever happened, like,
oh my God,
she had her number
with her,
because she knew that she was, being recorded in her home. She wasn't allowed to do anything. Like, it's
sad.
It's so sad.
And I want to see, I want to watch the documentaries, that I was kind of waiting for them all to come out, and then, I'd like to watch one after another sort of thing. But
I gotta watch this new one.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Although I am like happy for her that she has like freedom of Instagram, but like
some of the stuff she
posts, I'm like,
I know.
You need to tame it down a bit before we go real free. Like, you're not free yet, girl.
I know.
You're not free
She's
yet.
So funny. But I do feel bad for her that the life that she's lived is not even been her life.
Yeah.
It's been completely suppressed, and everything that she hasn't really gotten to truly experience life.
No.
Or a childhood, or
if
having
you've been
kids,
kept so caged, you might be showing your titties on the internet too right now.
You never know, honestly. We don't know until we're in that situation.
Yeah. You just can't say.
I wanted to tell you about, because I wanted to ask you, do you still play The Sims a lot?
No.
So,
oh God, I can barely get like 5 minutes out of a television show.
I guess so.
So busy with just crazy shit around.
Well, I don't follow them, but they come up a lot on my TikTok, I guess, because I watch them, of these people who play The Sims, and then they make these huge elaborate houses with all these things that I never would have even thought of doing when I played The Sims, and how they take objects and then they like alter them to make them better objects. So like, for instance, they'll take a like plant in a pot, and then they'll duplicate the plant, and then they'll turn it a little bit so that it like creates like a different design on the plant pot, and then they merge it so it creates a new item. And then they start making all these new items, like pianos. They just, we'll combine this desk and this piano, and now it's a full upright piano. And there's all these things I've never even known about.
Don't you remember you could download, it was like illegal downloading, but it was like different outfits that like weren't available, and hairstyles, and like celebrity replica characters and stuff like that, which I always thought was super cool. And like the stock clothing just wasn't like enough for me. I love this
whole like back scene of The Sims that I didn't even know was a thing, and people spend so much time on there finding out. Did you ever play The Sims, Ellie?
No, never.
Oh, I liked it.
It was so much fun. You could make them do the funniest things.
Hours and hours and hours and hours I would waste on that game.
It was fun. You could make houses.
I loved it.
Sky's the limit.
I just think it's hilarious to see what some people do now and how creative they are. And I never even would have thought about doing that kind of stuff when we played. Maybe you couldn't do those kinds of things though when we played.
Well, I remember, you could a little bit. You could definitely customize stuff. You could download stuff, the clothing and stuff. You could download a lot of outfits that were reminiscent of baby dolls, DOLLZ.
Yes, dolls.
So you could download clothes like the dolls would wear.
Hilarious.
Everybody knows what DOLLZ was. You went online. It was like clip art
Super
kind
cute.
of. You'd like pick up the
Yes, I love dolls.
outfits and put it over top of the body,
Oh,
and
it's
everyone
fantastic.
would, like screen save.
Yes,
and
spend hours on that.
loved that.
Yeah, I did do that.
Hours. That was grade 5, guys.
Yeah.
It was good. Good time. Cher would have been like
I was
grade
in
2.
grade 2 when you guys were in grade 5. So that
Probably.
would have been more like grade 5 or grade 6 for me later on.
Yeah.
Like I got
Yeah.
there eventually, but
I remember going, like, not everybody, I don't really feel like everyone had a computer then. Like, not everybody
No.
had the computer.
No.
Not everyone was hooked up to
allowed
the
to be on
internet. It was like dial-up internet.
Oh,
so if you had a
God.
brother
Yeah.
or sister and you were like trying to make your dolls and like
Someone answers the
so-and-so-
phone.
yeah, they answer the phone. It's like,
wrecks everything. Did you guys do Neopets or were you too
Oh
old for that?
I never had
yes.
Neopets.
I was obsessed with
Obsessed.
Neopets.
I was that
Yeah.
kid who like didn't have the computer. So
Oh yeah.
I had to go to my friend's
Only
house to make
child.
dolls and oh god.
Or I never had a webcam, but I had friends that had webcams.
Yeah,
and
same.
that's like all I wanted to do when I went over to my friend's house is like, let's go on the webcam, let's take pictures with the webcam.
Just so weird.
I know. Because I
do
never had
you
one.
all remember MSN, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Love MSN.
Big
And
time.
like the names you would make for yourself, or like asterisks.
Oh, yeah,
squiggles, like half capitals, half lowercase,
Yeah,
and
oh,
like
yeah.
your crush comes online, and you're like, I just want them to talk to me.
And then you sign out,
online,
sign out.
Block.
online, offline, online,
Yeah.
offline. Please talk to me.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Oh my gosh, all the time.
funny.
It was
I
good
love
times.
that. Did you guys use AOL?
No.
No, neither
Only
did I.
MSN.
Yeah, okay.
My stepson makes fun of me now for having a Hotmail account. That's like what old people have is Hotmail.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I have a Hotmail
so
too.
I remember being like young and thinking Hotmail was the coolest thing ever. It's like
It was.
Hotmail. Like,
I've had the same email address for 20 years.
wow,
Yeah, I got it when I was
that's a
8.
keeper.
I didn't have the
I know.
foresight to like put a professional Hotmail.
I just did my first and last name, so it's been really easy that way.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I always love because when we get customers emails all the time for their contracts, and so I always love when we get fiery dude _87. I'm like, oh god.
On resumes, another thing people sometimes don't
Yes.
put like a professional
Oh,
email.
yeah, I've
down.
seen some pretty funny ones.
Some interesting ones.
XX _Brooke XX. It's like, oh
69.
god. Yeah, exactly.
What do you guys think when people include a photo on their resume?
Oh
I
my
think
god,
that's weird.
I used to
wouldn't
make
do
fun of
it.
those people so much.
Yeah.
I think it's weird.
Especially when the photo choice is not even like a proper headshot.
Yeah.
It's like
It's unnecessary.
one restaurant I worked at, and this actually was sent between a couple locations because it was just too funny.
I know what you're gonna say.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay,
What?
so
Tell me.
the photo that was included was a girl, and she was hanging off of her boyfriend, kind of like a koala
Oh,
bear,
this is
if you
not what
can
I thought.
imagine.
What?
Okay.
He had no shirt on, and his back was to a mirror, and she was like holding
What?
on to him, and then she had her phone, and she took the photo, and that is what she sent with her resume.
Stop
What?
it.
And we didn't even ask for a photo.
That's bizarre.
Like,
And it wouldn't like
Maybe she
restaurants don't
didn't
ask
mean
for
to
photos.
send it.
I hope not. But it was like in the corner of the resume.
Oh, well,
so I
that's
think
weird.
that she did.
Yeah.
That's weird.
You couldn't even see her. She looked like a man's back with a woman's head. It
Very,
was-
very strange.
That is hilarious. I saw a resume. This is what I thought you were going to say, but now I'm realizing it was somebody else who told me about this. A different restaurant I worked at, we received a resume that said special skills. I can sit, stand, or walk for long periods of time without getting tired.
What? I can sit, stand, or walk. Okay, thanks for letting us know. Special skills. You're hired. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Allie, I wanted to update you on the question that you asked me the other day. Allie
Don't ruin
called...
the podcast. I'm not there yet.
No,
I'm just
no. We haven't even talked about it yet. Allie called me the other day and asked me about...
Oh my God. You're really going to do this now?
This is a PSA.
Okay,
This is
people
a
need to know the answer.
This is a public service
I actually
announcement.
completely forgot that I asked you
Allie
this.
called me and she asked me, but it was mostly an answer or a question for Jeremy, and I'll explain why.
Okay, but why was I asking you?
Somebody that Allie
No,
it was on a
was
show.
It was Jackie Schimmel.
Okay, Jackie Schimmel was talking about how she clogged her toilet with a tampon.
Because she always talks about how she uses the biggest tampon
Yes.
that you could ever get, like whatever. I'm not going to be
extra.
gross. No, but yeah, you get the point.
Anyways, Allie was calling me to ask me because Jeremy works for the regional district at the wastewater treatment plant. And so Allie was asking if that's a thing because she remembered a story that Jeremy had told her about the issues with tampons and why you shouldn't flush them. So I asked him about it last night. So when everything that comes through the sewers, like storm drains, everything, when it all comes into the plant, there's these screens that everything has to go through and it filters out everything. Like anything that you were to ever put down in the storm drain or the shower or toilet or whatever, it all comes in. So then those screens filter out a lot of that stuff. And then anything that's like basically larger than water going through all gets just sent to the landfill. Well, when say the power goes out or there's like a huge like system failure and the screens break, then all that stuff now flows into the plant and it overwhelms the plant. So that's why you're not supposed to flush anything down, because essentially when those solids don't get passed through those screens and they go to the landfill, somebody has to pay for that stuff to go to the landfill. So the city ends up having to pay for anything that goes to the landfill. That's why you're not supposed to flush anything, because like it's taxing the system basically.
Okay, got
but then
it.
when the screens stop working, which is what happened in this scenario, there was a whole bunch of tampons that like overflowed the system in the plant, and they like outflowed from the screen all these tampons, and then of course somebody has to pick those
That was the story that I remember Jeremy telling me, and I was like, oh my god. But then,
which is horrible. So he's like, please don't flush those things. And like there's a specific reason why you're not supposed to do that.
It's just so gross to like
totally
wrap them up in like 700 layers of toilet paper and throw them in your garbage.
Yeah, I know.
Like gross.
Not into it.
You're preaching to the choir, my friend.
Do you guys think that pads and tampons and lady products should be non-taxable or
100%.
provided?
100%.
I absolutely think so too. And I saw somebody's conflicting comment the other day on Facebook, and it was essentially saying like, well, I get hungry, like should my food be free? That's a bodily function that I can't control.
And I mean like toilet paper is not free.
No, and that's what he said too. I take a shit and nobody gives me toilet paper.
Yeah.
But I do, like, we've all been in a pinch before where we don't have what we need. So imagine like going a whole week not having what you need.
But it's not a luxury item. Like
it's not a luxury
advertised as. It's a basic need. And here's the thing: if you want to be helpful, go and donate tampons to a women's shelter or to the food bank. Like people who can't afford to buy food cannot afford to buy tampons. They're expensive.
Yeah, and so like I was talking about this the other day about how the city council didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money to put feminine products in the bathrooms of city property. So what they spent the money on instead was putting signage on city property, basically saying if you need a feminine product, just come and ask city staff.
Okay.
So which in my opinion doesn't really make sense, because if there is a person who does need a feminine product,
it's not really their business.
They're not going to go and ask somebody if they can have one.
How embarrassing to go and ask
Exactly.
somebody for a tampon.
Exactly.
And also, what if you're in the bathroom? You have to get out of the bathroom and go and ask somebody?
Exactly. And so, I mean, I get the whole argument that like, there are lots of other things that are bodily functions or whatever that, I can't control either, and I shouldn't have to pay for those things. But at the same time, I mean, it's something that only affects part of the population.
Yeah.
It's also something that like a lot of people have very hard times with and have medical conditions that are affected by it.
It's super stigmatized, like we're
100%
repulsive.
it is.
Also,
Yeah,
like
absolutely
society makes us feel like we are like some repulsive secret that can't be talked about. And there's
a lot of things that are like that with women.
Absurd, like the woman on the trampoline. Like, that's what I'm doing.
But there's a lot of things that are like that with women. And I mean, look at all the stuff that's going on in the States right now with the abortion laws, right? There's a lot of things that you can look at in history that specifically marginalize women. I'm not trying to be all feminist or anything.
I need
you have to deal with your offer.
I have to.
That's fine.
I'm so sorry.
That's fine. I'm going to ask Melanie some.
If you're listening to this podcast,
question.
you will not know that I'm
doing this.
doing this. If you're watching, I'm sorry.
But if you're an Allie super fan, you might wonder, well, she hasn't said anything in just a couple minutes. What's going on?
I came here for Allie. That's fine. I'll ask Melanie some children's questions, and Allie won't.
I've got nothing to contribute to this conversation.
I hope I can answer them for you.
There's this new thing on TikTok that, well, I don't know if it's new, but I just started seeing it about how it's like I will say a challenge or like a training exercise for labor where you're supposed to hold an ice cube in your closed hand for a minute, and you're supposed to do that regularly before labor because it's supposed to train you to think like it's only a minute. I can get through this minute if I can handle doing something that like is, you know, making me uncomfortable for a minute, then I can do this. What are your thoughts on that?
So, I mean, I could say that's dumb, but I could also say that is helpful. There is a lot of interesting kind of training things that you could do before labor. There's like a kind of books that try and teach you like meditating, mind over matter,
breathing.
The breathing is good because breathing helps. I can tell you though that there's nothing that is going to prepare you for that sensation. I know a nurse who works in labor and delivery. She delivers, you know, I don't know how many babies they deliver a day, but in her career, probably hundreds, maybe thousands of babies. Yep. She had a baby. I asked her, oh, well, you must have been prepared. And she said, I was prepared for what was going to happen, but I was not prepared for what was going to happen to me. The feeling, trying to bear through it. I have a high pain tolerance, so for me it was I don't want to say it was a walk in the park because it was definitely not a walk in the park, but
you also had an epidural.
I did have an epidural. My epidural came very late because I tried to bear through it. I was, not to be too descriptive, I would say I was probably 8 centimeters dilated before I got my epidural.
And that's pretty late.
I was pushing within 15 minutes of having my epidural, which was good and bad. My epidural was freaking working, I'll tell you that, because I couldn't feel my contractions. So when you're actually at the pushing stage, they say push when you're having a contraction. Your body is contracting, attempting to move that baby. You're assisting it by pushing. So for me, I missed out on the first couple seconds of a contraction because they actually had to tell me based on their little machine that reads that I was having a contraction because it was so strong. I think most people get an epidural like midway through. Usually it's starting to wear off. On the plus side, I did not feel anything at all. So that was nice. Although when I was in labor, they have nice little bathtubs in the labor area. You have your own bathroom and your own bathtub. You can't birth in the tub, but you can lay in that tub, and that's what I did for 7 and a half. I didn't know that you're not allowed
to birth in the tub.
You can't access it from both sides. So if I went into like medical distress,
they couldn't help.
It would be hard to get me out of the tub. They wouldn't be able to. So like those birthing tubs, they're usually like inflatable tubs. You can access them from all sides. You don't put it up against a wall or anything. But yeah, I myself like was a relax in labor kind of person. I laid in that tub for 7.5 hours straight. I never got out.
How long were you actually in labor for?
I went to the hospital at about 6 a.m. and I had my baby at 5:21 p.m.
Oh, wow. I feel like that's pretty fast.
It is very fast for a first labor, but I was already late. We were evicting her. I was induced. It was time for her to get out and go see the world. And it was fast. And when you're actually in labor,
you were like a week past your due date, weren't you?
I was. And they actually were going to push me further than that. And I was like, no,
I'm about ready.
I don't think so. But going back to what you're asking about the ice cube, kind of just lost my train of thought there.
I just thought it was kind of interesting.
One of the nurses said to me, if you think to yourself, I'm about to have like 800 contractions, you can now think to yourself, I got one down.
Yeah.
You know, it's only a minute and I only have, you know, X amount of minutes left to go.
Sure.
So like keep track of, count them if you want to, do what you got to do. But the time flies.
Yeah. 11 hours in
labor. It felt like it went by. Like I would keep looking at the clock and be like, oh my God, it's 3:35. I can't believe that. It's hard to even remember. Like you're in like a
dream-like, lucid, surreal state.
Yes, absolutely. It's weird. You're in a place and you're alone. Doesn't matter how many people are in the room with you. It's just you. It's on you. You're alone. You're the only one feeling this. And that person who's like, it's okay, breathe. Like, can only take you so far, and then you got to do the rest of the work yourself.
It's fair. What's your opinion on having a photographer in the room with you taking photos while you are giving birth?
I'm not really a picture person to begin with, so that's not for me.
That would be my worst nightmare.
Yeah, I just think it's
not really
the
my
last
thing
thing
either.
I want to think about. I mean, a lot of people while they're in labor do their hair and their makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they can have those photos taken. But I find that those are more picture orientated people, and that's just not really how I am. I'll take the pictures. And then other than that, I'm very like live in the moment kind
I
of
want to
person.
say that I'm going to like want to look my best, obviously, because that's just the type of person that I am. And I want to say like, oh, sure, I'll have time to do it. But at the same time, I kind of agree with that. I mean, it is what it is. Who cares?
Yeah.
No one's around you.
You don't know
like,
how long you're going to be in there. You don't know how much you're going to be sweating.
Yeah.
You might like be put into surgery. Like you have,
Yeah,
you have
that's
no
true.
idea.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you go into a surgery where you are put out by anesthetic, they tape your eyelids shut or put weird goo
I
on
think
your
they
eyes
have to
anyways.
remove your makeup if they do that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, actually, I had to have surgery after the baby was born. Nothing to do with the baby. Actually, an IUD that just went into my abdomen instead of
Broke free.
where it was supposed to go. Oddly
Did you
enough.
know it was there?
Well, it was kind of weird because I had never really been interested in IUD, and the idea of just like keeping some foreign object in you for 5 years at a time just like really didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
But I have lots of friends who have them. They don't get their periods. Like they feel great. They just can live freely with not a worry. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to do it. I feel like I like projected a bad time almost onto myself. And they say it would
Like
hurt.
that's what happens when you do mushrooms and you think you're going to have
Oh,
a bad
God.
trip and then you do.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, yes, exactly. I was going for a bad trip at the gynecologist.
Yeah.
So they say, oh, it's going to hurt a little bit. You might feel period-like cramps. There might be some spotting. No, I was like screaming in sheer agony, and there was like more than a little bit of spotting, but I guess that's normal, which a lot of things I find coming from doctors to a female body, they tell us things are normal all the time, and that we're like, oh, you're
It's
just
fine.
blowing it out of proportion, or this
Go
or
home,
that.
bathe in some Epsom salts. You'll be fine.
Have a sit
My doctor
spa.
told me that
You're
once.
fine. Yes.
Just go bathe in some Epsom salts. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just need to calm down.
okay.
You just
Yep,
need to
it's
calm
just
down.
anxiety.
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of right off the bat thought this is like crazy. Like I was driving home and I'm like, I kind of feel like I could just like black out right now. I had to like pull over.
God,
And then I
really?
got home. I was like, I can't deal with this baby. My daughter was 4 months old. I just like, I need to go take a shower. Like, you know, when you have cramps and you're like, I just need to get the shower. The hot water is going to fix me.
Yeah.
So I went back, I guess a week or two later to get like a string check. Like it hangs down, there's a string.
Yeah.
And they weren't there. And I had to go to the hospital, have an ultrasound, an x-ray, and it was in my abdominal cavity.
Oh my God.
So I had to have
God.
it surgically removed. I don't even remember how we even got talking about this, but
Just surgery in general.
yeah. Oh, the anesthetic.
Yeah.
So I had just gotten my eyelashes done for the first time.
Oh,
And
God.
they said you couldn't have any like fake eyelashes or this, you know, for surgery, like no makeup, no,
Yeah.
like, and I was thinking no fake nails either. They want to be able to put a monitor on your finger,
Yeah,
like have it
right.
read clearly.
That makes sense.
And I was like really preoccupied with my eyelashes. Like I didn't want them to be ruined. Like I just got them done. It was my first time. I was like in love with them. And I remember thinking like, what are they going to do to my eyes? And I remember that was my like last thought going under anesthetic was not like, I really love like my family and children. It was like, what about these lashes? Like what's going on? And the first thing I said when I opened my eyes was, what's going on with my eyelashes? Did you tape
Eyelashes
them?
okay?
Did you tape them? Because what you go to fall asleep
Yeah,
thinking
you
of
wake
is
up
generally what you
immediately.
wake up
It's
thinking
weird.
of. And then I'm not going to name the doctor by name, but I then professed my love for him.
Oh, God.
It was one of those situations where you're talking and your right brain can like hear yourself saying it, but like you can't control
Stop
it,
yourself?
like a sleep talking scenario. And I was just like, please stop. Please stop saying
that's
that.
another reason why I just don't think I would ever get an IUD, because I've heard too many horror stories.
There's a lot of bad ones,
You know,
but I
and
mean,
there's so many
yeah.
mixed signals. Lots of people love them. Lots of people hate them.
Yeah.
So
Well, also another thing, and not to scare anyone who is on this method of birth control, but when I was talking about my birth control options, because I was breastfeeding, so you're really limited to what you can have: an IUD, non-hormonal pills, which I just never had a lot of good times on a birth control pill. I found it really affected me, or it did things to my cycle I didn't like. So I suggested, oh, well, what about the like hormonal shot, like the injection? And like without blinking an eye, my doctor was like, I wholeheartedly believe that causes breast cancer.
I've never heard a doctor say good things about that.
He said studies, have led, he said he would never suggest it. If somebody was like, this is what I want, he would tell them the options, tell them his opinion, and he still would administer it because it is
your choice. It's
an approved birth control.
Right.
But if you're thinking about like sometimes things have been approved for like 20 years and then all of a sudden it's not safe. Like there's a smoking cessation medication called Champex that just was put out the other day on the news that they are pulling it. Like it causes cancer. It has cancer causing agents in it, and that's 20 years down the road. So if somebody tells me, oh, like this is just going to probably give you breast cancer, but you can just bang all you want.
Well,
I'm
you're
like,
already
I'm okay.
already at such a risk for different cancers with different birth controls anyways.
Definitely.
I haven't been on birth control in about 6 months, and I've noticed such a difference. It's just made me feel so much better. I don't know, like it's a suppressant. It's so many hormones into your body, right? And so once I went off of it, I just started to feel like myself again, and I don't have like the headaches that I used to, or the nausea, or just like sometimes I would just feel numb. And so, but I mean, that's the only unfortunate part, is that like
it kills your sex drive too.
100% it does.
Like I haven't been on a birth control pill for long enough that I can't really like recall if that was a symptom, but
100%
a lot of them say that it does. So like, what are you taking it for if you don't even want to be having sex anyways?
Maybe that's how it works.
Maybe. Maybe that is how it works.
That's the whole point. But I know Jeremy and I would have that conversation too, because I tried switching to multiple different kinds, and I found it didn't matter the brand. That's exactly how I felt too. And so that's what he said. He's like, well, why are you even on this? It doesn't make you feel good. You have a lowered sex drive, so you don't even have any interest in this anyways. So what's the point?
What about the birth control patch? Because I remember you used to take that one.
I loved the patch. I was on the patch from the time I was 17 until I was, I think, 22. And I loved the patch. Never ever had any issues with headaches, weight gain, mood swings, anything. The only reason I stopped taking it was because it just wasn't really working as much anymore, in the sense that like I would still get my period even when I was on the patch. And so I think it was just like my cycle started to change as my hormones started to change. And
as
so
you age,
as I started to age. And so that's when I switched to the pill. If that hadn't have happened, I probably still would have stayed on the patch. The only thing I didn't love was like you could only put it on really fleshy and like muscular areas, I guess. So you could only do it like on the outside of your bicep, your lower like back, like where your kidneys are, or your butt, or like your lower stomach, just just above like your bikini line, basically. And so, I mean, those aren't like the most attractive areas. And of course it's a sticky patch. So all of your like underwear would like get stuck on it and
stuff. Did it fall off though? Like, didn't it ever fall off? Because when I tried the nicotine patch when I was still a smoker, I would have to tape it down. It would not stay on my skin. Like maybe I just have such supple skin. I don't know. Just too smooth. But it would fall off all the time.
Interesting.
It would maybe like by the 7th day. Like by the day you're ready to change it, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, this thing's like ready to come off. But no. So I actually really, really liked the patch. But I honestly think it's just everybody is completely different. Your body's all completely different. So it's whatever works for you. I mean, I know some girls that got the shot when we were in high school and they gained like 60 pounds. And then I know other people that have been on the shot their entire lives and have never had an issue with it. So it's so hard to say, but I definitely liked the patch better than I liked the pill, that's for sure. But I hope to never have to take another one. Well, that was the other thing, because the patch was every 7 days. So it was like, okay, well, every Wednesday I'm just going to change it. The pill, fuck, it's hard remembering.
Oh, I'm terrible. And I've been taking the pill for 16 years.
Yeah. And even setting an alarm doesn't work.
No. The same type? Like, have you used the same type? Like, pretty much through?
The same.
Wow.
Oh, that's interesting. See, I mean, that's the thing. It's completely different for everybody.
Everyone's bodies are so different. It's just wild.
Yeah, I know. But I also think too, like getting back to kind of the whole doctor thing is like you go and see a doctor and you say that, well, it doesn't make me feel very good. Oh, well, like I'm sure that you're fine. It's probably not what this is. Like just, you know, just keep taking it.
Just general women's health in general, I find is not taken that seriously.
Yeah, I agree.
People are
100%.
not helpful, and people are constantly not all doctors, but some of the doctors I've seen are just kind of very like flippant,
dismissive.
like it's like they just don't have time for your issue, but we have to live with it all day every day.
I was reading.
I just wonder if men go into the doctors and get like,
Men don't go to the doctor.
well, that's
is
true.
very true. Yes.
That's true. But I was reading about Lyme disease, and that's a big problem with Lyme disease. It's extremely hard, to just get diagnosed with Lyme disease, but specifically for women.
There's so many different symptoms associated with Lyme disease that it's like, how are you even supposed to know?
Well, so because I had gone when I experienced like a couple years ago, I just went to Kamloops and I was having like a really rough time when I came home. I was so sick, and I went to the emergency room multiple times and doctors multiple times. Nobody could figure out what it was. Anyways, I was talking to a doctor about Lyme disease because I was in an area in the middle of summer that is known to have ticks. I didn't have any visible bites on me, but a lot of what I had read about said that that's, you know, a common thing that you may not have them. And of like the 75 symptoms of Lyme, I could attribute to 50 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like very specific symptoms. And the doctor that I spoke to, he said, well, where did you get those symptoms from? And I said, it was the Canadian Lyme Disease Association. And he said, well, that's not accredited. And I'm like, well, but it's the Canadian Lyme Disease Association. He's like, yeah, you can't use that as gospel. Like that's not accredited. I'm like, okay. So he's like, I'm not going to test you for it.
Oh my God.
But a couple times I've gone in with my Dr. Google answers, and I really brought them some like poignant information, and they've been like, wow, like I wouldn't have even considered that. You dove deep. And I'm like, yes. Anxiety made me do it. Yes,
oh my God.
did. Absolutely, I did.
I know. Every time that I have a medical question, I message my cousin Nicole because she's a doctor, and so she'll go and find like the deep doctor articles on like
the black web doctor
on her black web, and she'll be like, "Oh, well, I found this study about this, and do you have this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do have that." She's like, "Okay, this is what you might want to look into, or talk to your doctor about this, or ask for this specific test and that kind of stuff," because as I've figured out, you really have to be your own advocate
100%.
for the medical system.
Yes, you do.
100%. So, for instance, I have a lot of moles, and Jeremy wants me to go and get my moles checked. And so I talked to Babylon, tell us my health, and they're like, yeah, no problem. We're going to send you a referral. Great, cool. They're like, you should hear from a doctor within a week or two. You probably won't get an appointment right away, but you should hear from them. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was 6 weeks ago.
Oh.
So I called them yesterday and I just said, hey, like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Like, I haven't heard of anything. Well, turns out that my referral was, I figured this out. My doctor that they sent me to isn't at that clinic anymore, or that clinic's not even a clinic anymore. He moved to Duncan, and it's a completely new clinic name, and he's not even taking referrals anymore. So I called TELUS and I'm like, hey, just so you guys know, this is what I figured out. The number's not in service. The website's something different, and the doctor doesn't take referrals anymore. And they go, oh, okay, well, thanks for letting us know. We're going to have to send you referrals somewhere else. And I was like, okay, like, well, it has to be a whole new referral. So we're going to have to wait. And like, you're going to have to go back at the back of the line again.
Oh my God.
So, but if I hadn't have figured that out,
yeah,
I still would have been waiting. See, you have to be your own advocate.
Yes, you do.
You have to be the one that's like, I need this. Let's make this happen. I need to figure this out. It's ridiculous.
Yep. Do you know for the most part they have to remove the mole in order to like know anything about
Yes,
it?
they do.
Which is so unfortunate because I actually really like my moles. I do.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I had one removed 2 years ago, and they tested it and it came back suspicious. So I had to get more skin taken out around it.
Really?
Where was your mole? If you don't mind me asking.
On my
Sorry.
abdomen, like
okay.
right here.
I have one right here
What
too.
made you think that it needed to come off, or be looked at?
Okay, so what you have to do is you have to look up what are the traits of a suspicious mole.
They have an acronym, I think, like ABC.
Yes.
Or
Yes, you're right. It's like
So I had one
asymmetrical border color and discoloration
and change.
change.
Oh,
Change.
change.
Yeah,
That's
if
what
it's
it
like
is.
changed drastically in the last while.
Yeah, so mine, I had not had it for that long. Like I had probably had it
newer
for,
one.
well, not new, but like I had it less than 10 years. And it changed and it was very dark and it became raised. So I went to the doctor and he was like, yeah, we would well, first I actually went to a different doctor and he said, no, it's fine. And then I went to my regular doctor and he said we would remove that mole every single time. And so
really?
Wow.
yeah, so he was like, you were right to come back. And so, yeah, then I got more skin taken out and it was fine. So it was like, okay, if it was anything bad, we got it all.
Right.
But like, it is really important to get that stuff checked.
Yeah, I was reading a story about a girl who's 27 and she had a baby and she had a bunch of moles and she's like, I just didn't have time to go and get any of them checked. And she goes, when I finally did, she had stage 4 melanoma.
Yeah.
And so now she's like, I know that I'm terminal. I know that there's nothing that they can really do
God.
for me. And so she's like, I just, I'm living with that. But that's exactly what she said. She's like, I knew that I had moles, but I never really thought that any of them had any issue, and so I never really like did anything about it until it was too late. And so that's the only reason why I'm going to get them checked, because I like my moles and I have some pretty big ones, but I'm not like super concerned about them. But at the same time, what's irregular? What's discolored?
And I mean, I wasn't
What's-
super concerned about mine either. But,
Exactly.
it turned out to be, something.
Yeah.
So
Worth looking at for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had moles removed as well. 3 actually total in my life. One that was like maybe like, the tip of your pinky size on my back when I was younger. And they just said the size of it kind of is concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually wasn't at an appointment for my mole, but like he saw the mole on my back and was like, hey, I'm actually quite interested in like taking a look at this.
Yeah.
So they removed it. It came back as nothing. Another time later on, the first one I was a teenager, this was in my adult life, 2 on my back, and they just felt like I could feel them with my finger. They felt a little bit raised.
Yeah.
And once one had like a little like scab on it, maybe got scratched, but it
Really?
freaked me out. Okay. So I went in and it wasn't my regular doctor. It was a doctor who was visiting from Vancouver for a couple of weeks, filling in for my doctor. And he said, oh, I have no concerns about these moles. And I'm like, really? Like they stress me out. I've been thinking about it a lot. And he said, well, just the fact that they are interrupting your life by making you think about them, if you want, like, let's get rid of them.
absolutely.
Because that's enough for me to have a mole removed if it's becoming like intrusive into your thought pattern, stuff like that.
Yes.
So he said, oh, I'll set you up with a
Dermatologist?
what's the one?
Biopsist?
No, let's play a game. They do people's
Skin
boobs.
specialist.
They do your nose.
Plastic surgery.
Plastic surgeon. Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Ding, ding, ding. He said, oh, I'll set you with a plastic surgeon. I said, really? They just did it in the clinic last time. And I'm like, can't you just do it? He's like, you want me to do it? He was so excited. He's like, come back in a week. Okay. He literally, I arrived. He's like, I was up late last night. I was thinking about how we were going to do this.
Oh my God.
He was so excited because you're just like a walk-in doctor. You don't ever get to do
fun things.
anything. And
Yeah.
you're like, maybe you were a surgeon at one point and you're just he was so excited. We all get excited about our jobs. He was excited about these moles. One of them, he decided, okay, we're going to burn this one off. The other one, he said he was shaving off. Okay, so he brought out this little tool. It looked like a little tiny 2-man saw. If you can imagine that. Okay, and he was essentially like grating it off the top. Okay,
that's weird.
He put a little bit of numbing on my back. I couldn't necessarily feel the cut. I could feel the tugging.
That's weird.
It was horrific. Okay,
Oh, that is not my experience at all.
It was not cute at all. It was not a good feeling. So then after he does that mole, and I'm already feeling kind of nauseous because I'm like imagining what had just happened to me. Like, I'm like, whoa, that just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. He then burns the other one off. I could hear people in the waiting room gagging, being like, what's happening? What is that smell? Like they were just all repulsed. The whole thing was like just an interesting experience, but I am happy that he had a good time.
Great. Can't wait to get my moles checked.
Okay,
Thanks.
so it's not that bad. I mean,
My other one was very different than that. But
I just hope that all my moles are fine because I actually really like them. But like,
I liked mine too.
I'm a little like, I do have a pretty big one on my stomach and I have quite a few raised ones. And like, I mean, I have a lot of them, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like you've had them for this long. Like, they're probably fine. But Anyways, moral of the story is don't be afraid to go to the doctor if you're concerned about something, and be your own advocate. You have to fight for yourself and your health because no one else is going to do it.
Don't let them brush you off if you think, because an intruding in your life, whether it's like literally because it's cancerous or because it's bothersome to you, is enough. Like,
exactly. And you are your own person. And so fight for yourself if that's what you need. Right. So.
Who knew we would talk about healthcare?
I know. This went way deeper than I thought it would.
We've covered a wide range of topics.
Can I dumb it down a bit for you guys?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the only thing I prepared for this entire day, I'm going to have to just describe this meme to the viewers, okay? It's a picture of Beyonce. She's wearing what looks like a short-sleeved fur coat. She's riding a bicycle.
Can we see it?
Yes, you may.
Okay, got it.
Okay, I know this meme, yes.
Yes, I saw it yesterday, and it has a quote. It says, I started riding a bike on my days off with others like my assistant and stylist. It's amazing how I'm able to ride on a bike. People kind of see me, but since I'm on a bike, they think, no, it's not her. And by the time they realize it's me, I'm already gone. It's great to do something normal every day. It keeps me grounded. Imagine she rides by. You're like,
is that Beyonce?
Is that? No. She wouldn't be riding the bike.
Why would she be on a bike?
Should we? Well, I can't get my camera. She's gone.
Oh my God. That's
Imagine
hilarious.
living that life.
I'd like to know where she rides around on this bike. Like what, in Calabasas?
She looks like she's having so much fun.
Yeah.
She does.
Absolutely.
She looks like she is getting grounded.
Aren't celebrities just normal people at the end of the day?
They're just like us.
They're just like us, except with millions and millions of dollars.
Do you guys still follow like the Kardashians or anything?
No.
Nope.
Well, okay. So did you follow any like outfits at the Met Gala?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Kim Kardashian. Did you see where it was
been
actually
like a month of her walking
it's
around
ridiculous.
like that? Like her and Kanye West, they're divorced. They're not divorced. I don't know. Anyways, they've been wearing these all black outfits with like their faces completely covered. And then I also read something that her ponytail from the Met Gala was like that. Just the hair alone was like $10,000 or more.
I could see that.
Anyways, Allie,
ridiculous.
if you don't know what she was wearing,
I
it was
saw
like,
it.
okay, everybody go take a look. Cause
I don't get it. I know that that's art and fashion. I can appreciate it. I don't get it.
I just think people like that, and like nothing against her as a person because I don't know her.
No.
But people like that in that world, like they only have as much like power as we give them.
Yeah, I agree.
And I just don't think trying to like achieve that life is healthy for people.
And they're completely untouched from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
They're completely untouched with, what's actually going on in daily life.
Well, just look at what you saw from celebrities during like quarantine periods, going on vacations, renting yachts, doing this, doing that.
Yeah.
Like it's
where the rest of us are sitting at home and we have lost our jobs and, you can't afford anything and you can't go anywhere, and your mental health, all these things.
I mean, the like general celebrity, I guess you could say arts industry did take a huge hit during COVID.
Yeah.
No shows, like no tours, no things
movies,
like that.
all those kinds of things.
Yeah, it's kind of, if you feed into that industry, it only makes it like more powerful and affects more people. You get a lot of joy out of, being entertained, but there's also a lot of really like kind of stigma that comes with it. Oh, like, am I pretty enough? Does my, why aren't my teeth that white? Why isn't my hair that full?
Yeah. Well, there was something last year. There was a picture of Kendall Jenner that was posted on Instagram, and she was doing some fashion show, and the picture of her was gorgeous. She looked beautiful, and it just showed like her perfect body in a bathing suit. But that photo went viral, insanely viral, and it was also the same day that like the first Black woman under the age of like 20 or something that was getting to go into space or something like that. I'm not going to get that specifically right, but the point is that is a huge accomplishment and a huge deal. And that wasn't even remotely talked about. And yet this photo of Kendall Jenner in a bathing suit.
It's a big problem.
Is absolutely
society.
It is.
Well, and a lot of it has to do with the
that
access to all that information on your phone.
Exactly.
We've all been in the scrolling black hole of the videos, the TikToks, the pictures on Instagram, just the
because we used to have to wait to see that when it came out in magazines.
Oh my God, J14.
Magazine. And you didn't know about any of this stuff unless you did read it in a magazine. And if you didn't, it was just, maybe you watch Entertainment Weekly and that was it.
Do you remember the hair tutorials that were in like the magazines where you'd have to like just interpret from the still image what they were doing with those butterfly clips or what have you?
I used to love J14.
I loved it. The embarrassing moments.
Yes.
It was like a miniature.
That were in
it was like a miniature Cosmo. Oh my God. Yes. Covering your walls in posters and
I
making
so many
collages.
Yes. I can't read Cosmo anymore. I don't know what it is, but I guess I've just grown out of some of this stuff, but that I kind of feel like it is out of touch as well. Like some of the things that they wear or the makeup that they wear, I'm like, who's actually wearing this kind of stuff? We don't wear those things here. I guess it's just not in fashion here. But I just kind of started to feel like it wasn't relevant to me anymore.
I also feel like if you actually look back, some of those, like the sex tips that were in there were so curated to like you pleasing your man.
100%.
And it wasn't about like
it was
mutual
like offensive
pleasure
sometimes.
Yeah,
I completely agree. And some of the things
you're right.
Some of them were like,
I never really thought about that, but that is true.
But Melanie's right. They were totally curated to how you can be better for your man and how 100%. And it's not like
it's not cute today.
I mean, we're not like feminists or anything, but at the same time, it's like
it's about everybody having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not very self-empowering.
It's not about how to make him think this.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. However, there was some good articles and stuff in there. I was in a really hard to get a relationship in like my later teen years and early 20s, and I can honestly say I don't remember who was on the cover, but it was a Cosmo magazine that I read over and over. It was an article talking about it's okay to just run away, whether it's a job that is bringing you down, a friendship, a relationship, anything like that. And I honestly read that 1.5 page article like every single day over and over and over and over again until I was like, it's time to go. So I mean,
I agree.
It had some good articles, but it also like wasn't geared to the self-empowering
not anyway
kind of.
But I mean, any magazine
pushed like it was, but it wasn't.
No. But anyways, I think we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
That was
that was
good
deep, actually.
Yeah. That's not the episode I was expecting.
I was not expecting that either.
No, but we hit on a lot of topics, and I honestly think that we could probably record for hours more if we really wanted to.
It does make me think about the episode when you said, I teased Cher about this other day because she said in an episode, oh no, it was Nick said, there's something for everybody here. And I was like, no, there's not. There's nothing for Jason in this podcast whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. So
Jeremy
sorry
and the boys aren't going to sit around and listen to the podcast.
So if we've alienated our few male listeners,
do we have any?
There. I don't think any of you were there.
Talking about tampons for that long, I don't think we have any left.
Hey, we talked about wastewater treatment. Okay. There was a little bit of stuff in there.
Okay.
Anyways, you can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, Bitches in Business. And then you can find me at Shero.Watt.
And me at Allie Morrison.
I haven't posted since 2016
okay, so
on
don't
Instagram.
Go follow Melanie.
Don't follow Melanie, but we'll
have you back another time.
Stale content.
She's going to have to now. She's going to get a whole bunch of new followers, and you're going to have to put some new stuff on there.
Try and find me.
She's got a very cute kid, though. I will say that.
I do, yes. Very cute.
Well, thanks for listening.
Very cute kids.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Also,